This is Will Nunziata, New York City-based director and creator of theater, television, and film. And today I am thrilled to be speaking with an incredible writer, the one and only Lawrence Hughes Stern. Hello, Lawrence. How are you?
I'm doing well. Nice to see you.
Lawrence, so nice to finally meet you. We were talking offline, and your parents have an apartment around the block from me. You have a twin. You're an amazing artist. I can't believe our paths have not crossed, but you are in Los Angeles. And I want to know, my friend, where did you grow up and when did you realize that you had a knack for writing?
Well, I grew up in Washington, D.C., but I also lived in New York. And I went to high school at Sidwell Friends. And I did tons of acting when I was in high school, junior high school, and college. I went to Brown as a theater major. And I was just looking at my resume recently. I think I acted in 14 or 15 plays. So I was really serious about the acting. But junior year, I got into writing my own scripts as well. And I just loved, I'd also done a little bit of directing. And there was one of my favorite professors of all time. She was doing this class called Performance of New Scripts. And we acted and wrote and directed and produced all in the same seminar. And it was actually insane. It was 6 hours in one class. And we didn't even have a dinner break. She just ordered pizza for the room. But at that point, I started to realize that I liked having a little bit more of the control and the vision rather than just saying someone else's words all the time. So I sort of shifted my focus junior year to writing, had some of my work done. And then I went to grad school at UCLA for the writing program. And that's what got me out to LA. And I've been writing ever since. But I occasionally do still perform. I actually was doing this really cool project this year during the height of the pandemic, about the pandemic. One of my classmates from Brown, although we weren't in the same class, she's a little older than I am, but she is a very well-known singer-songwriter. And we did this reunion on Zoom, and there were about 100 of us who had all done theater, musical theater, et cetera. And Lisa Loeb is the person I'm talking about. She said, why don't we do a show? So
oh my God.
We did that sort of old, Judy Garland, Mickey Rooney.
Put on a show in the barn.
We did. We wrote. So then it got to sort of a smaller place. And there were 10 of us who decided to create these 9, and there was a stand-up comedian, so there was a 10th piece, short pieces about life on Zoom during the pandemic. And I wrote one of them and also acted in it and wrote its song. And we raised about $50,000 for the Actors Fund. We had tons of people involved in all capacities. We had Julie Bowen, because she's a Brown alum, and Rhonda Ross and Jo Beth Williams. It was such a great way to reconnect with people and to do something creative, during this really scary, strange time.
Lawrence, that's amazing. And don't you feel, though, that although obviously as horrific as this time has been, that as artists, we've always been pivoters. We've always been, how do we create something out of nothing?
Yes.
How do we create opportunity for ourselves? So it almost seems like, and when I'm talking to you, I'm being reminded, so many of us, even though it was hard, we made it work.
Absolutely. I mean, I was saying to a friend of mine recently, at the very height of this pandemic, I sort of had a choice, which was, okay, I can just be glum and I could be depressed, about what's going on, or I can try to be as creative as possible. And that's the path I chose, because otherwise it's just, at a certain point, you just watch the news too much and you're like, oh, what can I do? And it's out of your control. So I wound up doing this project with so many Brown classmates and alums, all different years.
And Lawrence, sorry to interrupt you, but is there a link or somewhere online that people can see this?
There was. It actually was pulled down in January. The premiere was Memorial Day. And then it came back through Broadway on Demand in August. Then it came back in November. It was doing so well. But they've just pulled it because of all the rules with Actors Equity. But if you Google Together Apart Lisa Loeb, you can read all about it. And I think they said it was like 16,000 views when they put it back onto this website. And anyway, it was a great experience. And then I also, over the last, I guess it's been a year of this, or 2 years really, I focused a lot on an indie film project that I have been championing for quite a while, as the writer, but also one of the producers, and decided to really, even though a lot of indie film was put on hold, I decided to really, put my attention back on the packaging. So we're much farther now
Can
on
you
that.
say the
We are
name of it or a little bit about it?
sure, sure, absolutely. It's a film project called Intensive Care, and as I said, I wrote it and I became one of the producers of it. It is a road picture. It is a dramedy, and it's about an older Southern woman who kidnaps a troubled, abused boy and takes him on the road as the cops search for them and their families. And it's the relationship that develops. And at the moment, we have Lena Olin attached to play the lead, and Bruce Davison as her husband, Catherine McPhee, and Chris Klein. We need one more actor. And then David Mickey Evans, who directed the Sandlot movies, Radio Flyer, he's attached as a director. And just very recently, actually, just about 2 months ago, I brought on 2 more producers because I don't really want to be the lead producer. I like the packaging, but I don't want to do the heavy lifting, the producing. And they're like, but you've done this whole package pretty much. But I said, yeah, that's okay. They're going to run the set and they're going to get the last actress. And so that's exciting. So that's what I'm really focused on. But then the other thing I've been doing during this pandemic is I decided to write a script that I really wanted to do for quite a while. I just hadn't. And it is my solution to the death of Marilyn Monroe that no one else has ever proposed. And so I finished it. It's called The Last Bombshell. It's brand new, and it's already placed really highly in 2 competitions in the last month. So,
And it's a play, a musical, what?
It's screenplay.
Oh
So yeah,
my goodness.
I'm really excited. It's funny, when I was just in DC too, because my agent and my manager, they're cool, but they were like, oh, this is really good. And it's all about old Hollywood. We don't know what to do with it. Why don't you enter a contest? And I was kind of like, thanks a lot. Like, you're not doing anything. So but anyway, I took their advice. And as I said, 2 of them already have placed it as semifinalists. When I was in DC this last month, I've been doing tons and tons of research. It's really focused on the last year of her life. And but I was doing tons of research on the earlier years, especially the marriage with Arthur Miller. And it turned out in 1957, she had stayed at this friend's house in DC. And my mom had also known about this because she knew sort of, I think, the son of the friends. And she's like, do you want to go look at the house? I said, yeah. So I just did that 3 days ago. We were at that house where she stayed, and there's a pool in the back, and it looks exactly the same. Although, if you look at the pictures and you Google like Washington, D.C. and Marilyn Monroe visit, there's the house, but now it's got a freedom flag in front. And I was like, okay, that makes sense, right?
Well, the universe is calling, my friend. The Last Bombshell. I cannot wait to see that with you up on the stage winning an Oscar.
Oh,
You have Intensive Care. I'm putting out good energy for that. Anything with Kat McPhee in it, I absolutely love. That is unbelievable, my friend. Well, listen, I could speak with you forever, Lawrence. I want to let everyone know, for more on the incredible Lawrence Hughes Stern, you can read more about him right below this video. Lawrence, I'm so excited that you're joining this new social media platform. And on top of that, I'm also happy that we're now connected. And hopefully one day we get to collaborate.
I would love that. Absolutely. We seem to have a lot of synchronicity.
Amen, my friend. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Please be in touch.